All right, so this is a review on Nasty C's album. It's called Zulu Man with Some Power or Some Powers. And yeah, the brilliant thing about this artwork is it's the epitome of what I would say is some powers. Because think about it, when you think of magic and you think of powers and all that stuff there, the colors that represent that is more or less like a purplish type of color, like a lavender type of color. And here you are with the artwork with, him like near a tree. Is it a tree or I don't even know. Yeah, behind a tree and stuff like that, or in front of a tree. But it's like in is that a place, a location, not like a garden or a forest? I don't know. Yeah. All I know is the artwork is a decent artwork and it represents what I feel like it represents. So, that's a good look right there. So yeah, like I said, this is an album from Zulu. I say Zulu Man, he is a Zulu Man. Nasty C. The album's called Zulu Man with Some Powers, and it's by Nasty C. So basically, there are 20 tracks. All right. The first one is called King Shit. Then Steve Biko. It's not pronouncing his name by now. And That's Hard, and it's not hard to pronounce his name either. And Overpriced Steak. Feeling. What else is there? There's Zone. No, before that there is Feeling. Then La Vida Loca. The Zone, featuring Teleman. Then How Many Times. Then there's Easy. The All In featuring Ti. Yes, Ti. Tip. Ti. Rubber Band Man Ti. That Ti. Lose Some, Win Some. Then Sad Boys. Then Black and White featuring Ari Lennox. Shea Butter, Aaron Lennox. New Apartment. Ari Lennox. I need to stop doing that. Then Deep Pockets featuring Rolling. Then Buku Bucks featuring Little Got It and Little Keed. Then there's Palm Trees, Zulu Man. I may mispronounce this, but I think it's Ababulali. Then There They Go. Then They Don't featuring Ti. Again, Ti, Tip, or Man, Grand Hustle. But anyway, listen. With this album, I was hoping that he was going to release an album this year, because I liked hearing his flow. His flow is just absolutely ridiculous. He's got one of the best flows. Anyway, let me not compare him to anyone else. I just say he's got one of the best flows, and he spits bars that make sense. You see what I'm saying? That's the type of music I generally like, even though I do like a little bit of, nonsense here and there. You need a little balance. Yeah, it can't be all righteous all the time. But yeah, I think it was a great choice to be able to not only get Ti on here, because it helps bridge the gap between quote unquote African Americans and Africans in general. You see what I mean? The whole aim really is connecting with people, and some people don't know their roots, their actual roots, and some people do, and it's a good thing that Nasty C knows his actual roots, not just because he was born in South Africa, but obviously the way he was raised, because there's some people that are born in particular countries and they don't know their roots, they don't know their real roots. Do you see what I'm saying? So to be able to call his album Zulu Man with Some Powers, just to say Zulu Man, that's one thing. To identify, to put yourself in a position where you're able to identify your tribe, where you actually come from. Yeah? Not even just saying South African with some powers. He said Zulu Man with some powers. And to add with some powers, that adds to the fact of being proud and knowing your actual roots. Because once you know your roots, it gives you that, it empowers you. It gives you that power. Not only do you feel proud, but you feel powerful. It's hard to explain. I'm just talking from personal experience, knowing from, as a kid, my parents, my biological parents, they taught me, my roots, and even my foster mom, she taught me some of my roots and stuff like that. So I was very proud as a child, especially in primary school, saying my Igbo name. Like, I was so proud. Maybe not the full name, as far as I remember, but I do remember saying the shortened version of it. So it's like, it's interesting how things are. But when you're not taught that, you're not really, you're going against the grain. You're going against, not going against the grain, you're going against who you are, who you are, because you don't really know who you are. But there is what some may call self-hate. But how can it be self-hate if you don't know your roots? Do you get it? If you don't know your roots, how can it be self-hate if you're shouting out to another African kid, African boo-boo and all that stuff there, or even in school, I remember they used to call Somalians, even though they're African, they used to call them Somali pirates. They used to call them inbreds and all that stuff there. Like, it was just mean and nasty in school when I deep it, with the bullying and stuff like that. It may seem like it's banter back then, but it really isn't. It really isn't, because anyway, let me not get too deep in this situation. My whole point is, whether you're black, white, Asian, whatever, like, the key thing is you need to understand where you actually come from. You got to be proud of where you come from. Do you understand? Like, be proud. If there's something you don't like about where you come from, then you can ultimately be that person to, like, try and evolve that situation or change it or anything of that nature. Because with anything, things evolve over time. Do you get it? But it's good to be able to know what your tribe is or know what your roots are, and find out what the traditions are, and be able to stick with those traditions and live your life to the best of your abilities. Like, you will be so empowered. That's the only way I can explain it. Yeah, so click the link in the description box below where it says become a member of the Thealkebulantrust. You'll get access to online courses such as African and Caribbean history, and that's where you're going to learn all of that information there on how to, discover what your true roots are, or what African and Caribbean history are, and all that stuff there, and just be able to do what's necessary so you can actually say whether you do discover that you are also a Zulu man or a Zulu woman, and you can say you're some Zulu woman or Zulu man with some powers. I could say I'm an Igbo man with some powers. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I can say that proudly, yeah? And you can say it proudly once you know the information that you learn, yeah? It's not going to happen overnight, but naturally what's going to happen is when you align yourself with your tribe, naturally things will start to feel right and go right for your life. It just is, yeah? And what's funny about life is you're closer to your tribe than you actually realize. The more you discover yourself, you realize how closer you are to your actual tribe. Life is interesting that way. But anyway, listen, do I have a favorite track on the album? I guess I don't really have a favorite track, but the one with T.I., the second one, They Don't, is an interesting take on, racism and all that stuff there. And and it goes right back to knowing your roots. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like you have to be in a position where if you know yourself, you know thyself, you know what to do to try and change that situation or solve that situation. Do you see what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that probably is probably my favorite. There was I think as the album progressed further, the rhythms became more, I felt the rhythms a lot more, I guess. But I'm still going to give it a 10 out of 10. And what I would suggest is the link to the albums in the description box below. So go stream that, go stream that. And let me know what your favorite track on the album is as well. Like, what's your favorite track and your favorite feature? Leave your answer in the comment section below, along with what else you want to see next in our videos. Whatever you suggest, it could be next. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And one more thing before I go, there's another link in the description box below. Make sure you go click that. It says make a donation. You can make a donation of any amount, especially if you want us to continue growing and growing. And yeah, so see you on the other side.